Okay, so here's my custom designed and built Reptile egg incubator. It holds up to 15 clutches of ball python eggs. I started off with this fibre board, which I got from the DIY store. Took the dimensions to them and they cut it for me. It's water resistant, it's a good insulator. Here's some of the other stuff I used. Simple tools, nothing really complex. No more nails, I think that's called in English. Glues, craft knife, screws and hinges. Has a drop-down door on the front, so simple hinge arrangement. No more nails, again, sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape. Okay, I missed, I couldn't actually video making the first bit because operating the camera and doing the gluing and nailing was not so easy. So all I did was put the parts together and use the No More Nails glue, as you can see here. And there are some of the little screws. I drilled through and put the little screws in to hold the pieces together. Probably not necessary, just the glue itself would hold, but no harm in a bit of extra strength to it. You can see the interior joints there. Again, this is never going to win any beauty competitions or any cabinet design, furniture making competitions, but that's of secondary importance to me. What's most important was to get a design that's functional and works. Now, to insulate the thing, there's lots of ideas on YouTube for cutting this expanded foam polystyrene, but all you need to do is get a suitable soldering iron, get it nice and hot, draw a line and roll down it. If you want it to be a nice, super clean cut, then use a straight piece of wood as a template. I didn't bother with that because it doesn't really matter. Like I say, the internals of this are not going to be seen by anybody other than me. So if it's not perfect, it's no big deal to me. So I cut these insulating pieces to measure and then fit them inside. There's the bottom one, and just carried on the same for all the sides. And then even the top and the drop-down door eventually get the insulation pieces as well. You have to take care when you're making measurements to allow for what goes where and what overlaps with what. But if you plan it all out, it's not too difficult. At this stage, again, I missed out on a couple of video shots. One was putting the hinge door on, the other one was this thin polystyrene shiny insulation material, which I lined the inside with completely, all the way around, inside, top, bottom, sides. Gives it a nicer finish and also helps with the insulation. The idea of insulation is not save money, of course, it's just keep a stable temperature. And this is it when it's all laid inside. That I stuck on with the No More Nails sticky tape. And that's just about the case of it, just about finished. I've put a couple of bolts on each side to keep it closed up nice and tightly. And that's it, a nice sort of sealed container. Now at this stage I've put the heat pad in at the bottom. I think this was a 14 watt, which from experience would be fine for a case of this sort of size. And I just run the cable by cutting a little bit of a notch in the side of the fibre board. This stuff is really easy to work with, as I say, as well as being humidity resistant, water resistant, it's also easy to cut into. I got one of these little LED lights, freestanding LED battery powered lights, really handy for when the thing's actually in operation to be able to see inside. without messing around with torches and stuff like that. I forgot to say, actually, I used this metallic tape to sort of fix the heat pad down. As most people do, I use these water blocks, these freezer blocks, as a sort of extra reservoir of heat. You know, water having a higher specific heat capacity than air, these will keep the heat in whenever you open the door. You're not going to lose all your heat straight away like you would if there was just air inside the container. So they help with the maintaining the temperature. These are biscuit racks or baking racks which you can buy, and that just keeps everything keeps the tubs off the base. You don't want them standing directly on the heat pad cooking eggs. Place them inside like so. Forgot I'd got the light at this stage. Comes in handy, even when you're building the thing. I thought I'd try putting a fan in. I don't intend to run this all the time, it's just a computer fan. This is a specially bought one which was slow speed. Big dimensions with slow speed I think is better than a tiny little thing whirring away at some ridiculous RPM. Put a thermostat in, and this now has the fan running. I just placed it on top of the freezer blocks. Spread the heat around a bit if necessary. I'm going to set that up so it only runs, maybe once an hour or so for 5 minutes, just to keep things moving, keep the air moving, and stop it getting too stagnant in any odd differences in temperature. This is how I normally set up egg boxes, like many people will, with perlite on the bottom and then some egg crate material on top of that. Then you can put pretty much as much water as you like in the bottom, because the eggs don't come in contact with the actual substrate. This is a wireless sender unit and thermometer and humidity meter. The idea of this is that the actual sender unit can go inside one of the actual egg boxes in the incubator without any wires and messing around like that. So that can go actually inside with some of the eggs or in a spare egg box, and it sends the data back wirelessly to your control unit, your display unit. Close this tub up, and then of course you need your thermostat lead, your thermostat sensor lead going into one of the tubs as well. I think it's important that goes into the same one that your thermometer, your independent thermometer is reading from. And then you've got verification, because just because a thermostat believes it's set to 30 degrees or whatever doesn't mean that's the actual case. So an independent thermometer will bear that out or not. And that just goes in with the other tubs. Like I say, this can hold up to 14, 15 clutches of ball python eggs. Providing I don't get any monster clutches, that is. In which case, just reduce the number of tubs and use bigger ones. Close it all up. I set this to 31 degrees. You can see the set temperature. This is microclimate available in Europe. This thing has just been set up so the actual temperature inside is 22.3. After a while you can see it's running at 78.5% of its maximum because it's pulse proportional, 79%, and the temperature is actually up to 30.7. It took about 4 or 5 hours to get to that kind of temperature. You can see a graphical display of the temperature. It very soon will reach 31 degrees and stay there. Now the independent temperature says 31 degrees. It says 98% humidity, so pretty darn good if you ask me. And there we go. Like I say, it won't win any beauty competitions, but good incubator nonetheless. Looking forward to using it. Thanks for watching.